Hey YouTubians, as of now it looks like there are already 6 video responses to this 1-star video, but this is the only time that I really feel like I had to make an actual video response. I'm sure this will hit on one or many of the things that people have already said in their responses, but at least I'll get to sleep tonight. So this is a response to Christ on a cracker or Christ on a bike or something to that effect. Now, it's very understandable to feel that someone is overrated as a truth sayer when what they say goes against the deep-rooted programming of, let's say, your strong foundation of Christianity. So much so that I'm sure that I'm doing the very same thing with your seemingly subpar presentation, involving so much concern of insult, etc. So I guess what I mean is that it's easy to put aside points made when the overall objective is inevitably rejected. Not because of pride, not because we know no matter what information is presented to us, if it cannot overturn the reasons that we truly believe what we do, then it's all trivial, and you're able to chalk up another presentation as ignorant or overrated, much like I'm doing with you right now. So I'm guilty. I'm willing to bet that you're one of those guys that feels like Richard Dawkins is getting extra credibility points because he has a distinguished English accent. Well, you know, that it may not hurt, to be honest. But when it honestly comes down to the brass tacks of the situation, anyone that is even remotely a Dawkins fan knows what he is about and why what he says is so credible. You see, the thing is with Dick is that he doesn't need to lean on deep thinking or philosophy, as a matter of fact. That is what makes his speeches so powerful. The things that he's able to lay on the table as a biologist and a scientist, advocate of simple reasoning skills, is utterly without need of philosophical lectures and breakdowns. It speaks for itself. And the reason he is able to do so, even in the process, should sound arrogant. Because he knows that he has an entire respected scientific community behind him. He's a scientist with the credentials to be making sadly unknown things common to the people. He's not even that great of a speaker. But he must be the one that's doing it. Okay? As far as this young lady, wow. This college student that could not even properly put a sentence together has the audacity to ask such a question. This girl was not even there to engage in anything remotely resembling a civil get-together. She just wasn't. She took a cowardly jab based on not being able to prove a negative, braced by her snotty Christian domineer attitude. I'm curious to know how many people actually believe that she actually deserved anything better than she got. So he was willing to be insulting to her in the audience. Not only did he answer the question without pause, he made a perfectly legitimate point as to the lunacy of choosing any one of these religions. I'm not sure if you noticed the roaring crowd after he finished, a true sign of an offended audience. But you called it red meat to the mindless masses. I bet anything at all, this had been the exact kind of crowd that you think you know about. You were absolutely right that they would not be cheering. Why? Because they would have experienced very difficult rebuke. They would not be cheering. It would be exactly the same in power. Now, when you speak of all the issues that go into Christian gods, relations, and explanations of the beginning, and such, as if the Bible were to do that, now I'm offended. And many others. All that the religion of the flying spaghetti monster would have to do is to write all creation happened in an oven in 400 degrees in an hour, and to be written on the back of a village inn placemat with crayon, and let it age, and it becomes old, and it becomes scripture. It is exactly the same thing. Again, making Richard Dawkins' point as valuable as before. Choosing to be Christian? Do you seriously believe this? Of course, nothing is 100%, but if a Christian family bears a child, and that child will go into Christian churches all of their impressionable years, please contest this if you can. Now, in as early adolescence, the child can make a decision on what direction to go, and if he does initially lead away from the church of his or her upbringing, is at times on terms of rebellion. And there's a good chance that the person will have lingering thoughts of guilt, fear of hell, inklings that there may be some truth to the story of the Trinity. This is so very scarring, and leaves so much of a mess, the possibility of making these kinds of decisions for themselves. How can you call this a choice? How? Listen, the bottom line. When disputing something that is on every level incompatible with the overwhelming evidence of geology, cosmology, paleontology, chemistry, astrophysics, geophysics, biology, the rhetoric is under no burden to be charming to the debate. It is fully deserving of ridicule. Respecting people and respecting unfounded beliefs are two polar items. Would you choose to undergo some kind of respectful discussion to someone that is ruining and wasting their life with praise and money and endless guilt and poor moral guidelines to someone who's convinced that the tooth fairy demands these things will rain down endless pain and suffering? And will furthermore may even be successful in poisoning other people? Maybe even people that you know and care about. Does this sound like a kind of world that has a chance to grow at all? A world that has a real chance of ending the very real problems that we actually do have here? But anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope some of your points were addressed honestly.